Hi there, and welcome to Octobyte. I'm Jordan, and today we're going to be discussing the AT&T PC 6300. Released in June of 1984, the PC 6300 was AT&T's first foray into the IBM-compatible market, and an impressive one at that. Unlike a lot of the other IBM compatibles at the time, this computer boasted both a high degree of compatibility with IBM's offering, allowing it to run complex software like Microsoft Flight Sim and Lotus 123, which might cause other compatibles issues, and actually outperforming the IBM XT thanks to an 8086 processor running at 8 MHz as opposed to the XT's 8088 processor running at 4.7 MHz. Now that might not seem like a big difference, but the 8086 is a true 16-bit processor, whereas the 8088 is 16-bit internally, but with an 8-bit data bus, meaning that getting data into the processor is always going to be a bottleneck. So thanks to the higher clock speed and the true 16-bit nature, this computer was actually able to outperform the IBM XT. To go along with that 8086 processor, this computer could be equipped with up to 640 kilobytes of RAM. Who needs more than that, am I right? And featured an enhanced CGA graphics card. So it was compatible with CGA, which the IBM PCs were using, but it actually supported extended color options and resolution modes up to 640 by 400 as opposed to the 640 by 200 on IBM machines. Now this computer, despite the numerous AT&T logos, was not actually produced by AT&T here in the US, but instead is a rebadge of the Italian Olivetti M24. Now AT&T actually had a 25% stake in the Italian computer manufacturer, Olivetti at the time, so it's a natural symbiotic relationship there. Unfortunately, unlike the Olivetti M24, which sold quite well in Europe, this computer did not sell nearly as well here in the US. This particular model that you see here with the 20 megabyte hard drive and 360 kilobyte 5¼ inch floppy drive would have set you back about $4,000. Now I picked up this particular machine from a thrift store in Florida about 10 years ago. During high school, it sat in my garage workshop where I used to repair retro computers. It definitely worked then, and then it made the trek out to California with me and stayed in my dad's shed for quite a long time. So it's anybody's guess as to whether or not it still works. It'll be just as exciting for me as it is for you. I personally really like this machine. I just think aesthetically it's really pleasing. Olivetti was really well known for its designs. I'm not sure if they had any input into this, but I would assume so, given that it's a very attractive machine. I also really love all of the AT&T branding, if I'm being honest. I just think it's neat. Now, despite this machine supporting extended color modes with its enhanced CGA graphics, this particular monitor that I got with it is monochrome and green phosphor. So I think it's a very attractive machine, but sadly we won't be able to try out the high color, fancy graphics modes. But how about we turn this guy on and see how it works? So I plugged the computer in, and before I actually recorded this video, I did take the computer apart and make sure that there weren't any leaky caps or anything obviously wrong with the boards. I don't want to damage it. Everything looked pretty good, so I think we can turn it on and see how it fares. So let's flip the switch here in the back. There's no front panel power. We've got lights on the keyboard. That's a good sign. And the monitor warms right up. So it looks like we're running Resident Diagnostics version 1.43. While I was researching this video, I did find reference that was only shipped on the later, like 1986 models. So this has got to be a later revision of the computer. You can see that we've got our CPU. It's an Intel 8086. Got a bunch of other things being tested by the Resig Diagnostics, and then we're loading an optional ROM at C800. If I had to guess, that's probably this hard drive controller, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you have a guess, please fill it in the comments. Just says 1701. Now we're trying to boot the floppy drive. It says not ready. And it looks like we tried to load ROM basic. So a lot of these older computers actually had the ability to boot from a ROM that could be placed on the board. I don't remember seeing a socket in there, but I'm assuming that I probably just missed it. But that would allow you to boot directly into BASIC, kind of like one of the later, or earlier I should say, 80s home computers. So the fact that it tried to boot from the floppy at all makes me think that the hard drive, or not just makes me think, but confirms that the hard drive is unfortunately not working. It looks like it did not survive. But no worries. We still can boot from a floppy disk. Luckily, I got this handy user guide along with it, the AT&T personal computer, which came with some customer diagnostics and tutorials and a system boot disk. Before we take a look at that user guide, let's get a chance to take a look at the keyboard here. The astute among you might notice this is actually a copy of the Model F, the lesser cousin of the Model M, which is much more widely known. You'll notice that it has the 10 function keys on the left and the arrow keys in the numerical pad. Now let's take a look at this user guide. So it's actually pretty thick and generally assumes a limited understanding of computers, it seems. So it walks you through a lot of the basics and how to get started. One thing I thought was kind of cute, if we can find it, let's see, yeah, here we go. So about the keyboard, it describes the QWERTY section as the typewriter section keys. I just thought that was kind of cute. Olivetti was actually a typewriter company originally, so I thought that was kind of a neat callback. You'll also notice that we have this optional 512 kilobyte RAM expansion, as well as an 8087 numeric data processor. This would be a co-processor for the 8086 processor, allowing it to do numeric commands a little bit faster. There's also this expansion super pack stuff. I'm not 100% sure what this is. I'll need to read up on it more, but it seems to supply a RAM disk and some compression utilities for speeding up performance. I haven't been able to test that though. And here's the meat of what we were looking for. So we get a tutorial disk and a customer diagnostic disk, as well as this cardboard insert. So this is containing our system software. You'll see that it comes on a single 5¼ inch floppy disk, MS-DOS 3.2. This will allow us to boot the machine. And one other thing that I found in here, which I thought was kind of cute, is this how-to tutorial to start up your computer for the first time. So they've supplied a basic program on that tutorial disk. So this boot disk contains GW Basic, and they expect you to put this into the computer, boot it up, run GW Basic, and then run that tutorial diskette to give you like a little quick getting started UBI experience. I just thought that was kind of a neat touch, but right now let's go ahead and focus on getting the computer booted for the first time. So we're going to use this MS-DOS system disk to do that. So we have our disk. Why don't we give that a shot? So we will, as per the instructions, turn off the machine. We will insert our diskette and lock it down and turn on the machine. Getting our blinky lights again. And our floppy drive is ready. So notice there's a disk in the drive, but it appears to have skipped booting to it. Let's try resetting the machine. Reset button's right down here on the front of the machine. And maybe we'll have better luck this time. And we are getting ready and then a boot failure. So unfortunately, it looks like we are not going to be booting the AT&T PC 6300 today. My best guess is that the floppy drive head is dirty, or there's something wrong with the disk drive in general. I do have a replacement for this hard drive and the floppy drive. Maybe in a later video we could try taking this computer apart and replacing the drives, or cleaning out these drives. Just have to see what's easiest and what we can accomplish. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to end the video there. It's been a kind of a short video, and I apologize for that, but I was really hoping to explore this machine a bit more, but let's end it there. So let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more with this machine. I'd love to hear your feedback, and let me know if you like this video. Thumbs up if you did, and if you hate my voice just as much as I do, feel free to use that other button. But yeah, hope you have a happy new year. Peace.